The morning air was sharp with sulfur. Ella stood on the edge of the caldera, boots resting in dust that had once been lava, now cooled and cracked into obsidian scars. Around her, the land breathed heat. Wisps of white steam rose from fissures in the earth, and the wind carried the low, distant growl of something ancient stirring just beneath the surface. She had traveled far to get here, a volcanic island in the Pacific known not for its beaches, but for its fire. This was not the kind of place you stumbled upon. It was a place that called to something deep inside you, something that remembered what the world was like when it was still forming. The guide had warned her. The volcano does not care if you're watching. It moves on its own time. She had smiled and said, "That's why I'm here." Her first stop was an extinct crater, now filled with wild grasses and the occasional twisted shrub. Birds circled overhead. The silence was heavy, not oppressive, but sacred, like walking into a cathedral made of ash. Ella sat near the edge and opened her notebook. Here, time is not kept by minutes, but by eruptions. She moved on, following a winding path that led down through old lava tubes, tunnels carved by fire centuries ago. The walls were smooth, glassy in places. Her footsteps echoed in the dark. She could feel the age of the place with every breath. It was a library without books, and the stories were written in stone. Outside, the sun climbed higher. She reached a geothermal field where the earth hissed and sighed. Pools of boiling water shimmered blue and gold. Mud pots bubbled like soup. She crouched to watch the rhythmic plop of heat rising through the earth. A sign read, "Beware. The ground may be tea." She took a careful step back. There was beauty here, and danger. But more than that, there was honesty. The volcano didn't pretend. It didn't negotiate. It existed in the full expression of itself. She wrote, "We spend our lives trying not to break the surface. But the earth reminds us, eruption is part of creation." By noon, she stood at the foot of the most active cone on the island. It smoked faintly, like a pipe between breaths. The black rock at its base was still warm from its last eruption months ago. She met a volcanologist who had been monitoring the mountain for years. He showed her seismic charts and thermal scans. "Do you fear it?" she asked. He shook his head. "No. I respect it. It teaches us what cannot be controlled. That's a rare lesson." They shared water and watched a hawk ride thermals above the crater. In the afternoon, Ella climbed a ridge that gave her a view of the entire valley. Cones, craters, rivers of cooled lava twisting through the landscape like ancient veins. A storm was forming far off over the sea, but here the air shimmered with heat. She sat in silence. Thought of all the things that build slowly and break suddenly. Thought of how often destruction leads to new life. She wrote, "Volcanoes do not ask for permission. They break, they burn, and then they bloom." As the sun began to set, she walked toward an old lava flow where the land had cooled into strange, wave-like forms. Moss grew between the cracks now. Wildflowers clung to the edges. She ran her fingers across the rock. It had once been liquid fire. Now it held life. At the base of the ridge, she met a local woman who collected volcanic stones. She gave Ella one, small, smooth, black with tiny air pockets. "Hold it when you're lost," the woman said. "It will remind you that nothing stays molten forever." That evening, Ella returned to the observation station to watch the volcano glow in the dark. Not erupting, just alive, breathing, waiting. She sat on a bench with her notebook and flashlight, wrote until her hand ached. Fire is not always a threat. Sometimes it's a pulse, a heartbeat beneath the ground, reminding us we are standing on living earth. Before she left, she looked up at the stars. They burned too. She whispered, "Thank you. For the heat. For the reminder that breaking open can be beautiful." And the mountain, silent and massive, kept watch long into the night.